Clean as well. How's middle school?
Good. We miss you.
Of course it's good.
Well, we miss you though.
Well, thank you.
You should come and visit us sometime.
I'd like to come visit, and then I hate to visit and not talk to Sandy. So I have to have time.
Need to order at 5:30.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, you should tell me to grab it.
All the board members are present. Mr. Hypipe, would you like to address the board?
Yes. talking to,
Okay.
I was talking to Steve and probably names will be said, so could we?
Go into executive
Yes,
session?
please,
Okay.
real quick. Sorry about that.
We have other items for the executive
Okay.
session, so
Okay.
we'll just go ahead and, do you have a motion to adopt the agenda? By Shelley, with the additions, second by Michelle. Oh, and then we have some changes on the consent agenda. Want to pull E, number 2, and the hires for executive session. All in favor?
Yes.
Her daughter was sick, so I'm assuming it didn't get better, so she wasn't in today.
And Ms. Hoppus? Move approve.
Okay, our board report, I'm gonna go through attendance, enrollment numbers, daily attendance, and then just some highlights from our school and things that are going on, and to come up. Attendance through today, we ran it through today, is sitting at 82.9%. From our numbers, it's gone from 88 in August or September, and it's just every month it's gotten progressively worse. Actually, this is better than last month. Last month we were at 78.99%. Our enrollment right now, our average daily membership is 472. We have 164 sixth graders, 155 seventh graders, and 153 eighth graders. This is the most kids we've had in that building since I've been here. ODR recovery room visits, we've had 881 visits so far to the recovery room, and events, ODRs, we've had 130 with 119 suspensions out of school. So what that tells me is that most of the behavior that we're seeing in the classroom, kids are learning to self-regulate and asking to go to the recovery room before it becomes an issue where they're gonna get suspended or office managed behavior. Our recovery room sees a lot of our kids all the time. We broke out how the reasons that they're in the recovery room. 283 for just needed a break, and what they do for breaks is we have timers, a 3-minute and a 5-minute, so they're not out of the classroom for a long enough time. Kids know, they go in, they turn the timer, do what they need to get back to center, and then go back to class. 161 was our next highest one, and that was conflicts with peers that usually end up in a mediation that we sit down with the kids to get them to talk it out rather than fight it out. And I think that in middle school, that's probably the biggest issue that we have, is the conflicts between others and that social aspect of school. 78 were just seeking to see a counselor. They just needed to talk to someone. The other ones are pretty minimal. Defiance, insubordination was like 12 visits to the recovery room. Disruption, 7. Limbic system, 7. Pre-suspension, 6. Skipping or uncooperative, 2 and 6. Okay, our Wildcat Challenge is going really well. That Wildcat Challenge is every day we recognize a student for showing either trust, responsibility, effort, or excellence. Teachers give them a ticket every time that they are caught doing something that modifies those values or shows those values. Kids have the choice to either keep it or put it in the jar, and then we draw every morning for the Wildcat winner, and they get a soda, not a soda, Here's the lunch people. No, no soda. They get like a vitamin water, whatever they choose, or a Gatorade from the machine. Monthly winners go to teams, and how we do that is by attendance. The wellness team that has the best attendance, and then we usually have a tournament, and then they can get points during assemblies. We have Wildcat Challenge assemblies like we had with Bulldog, and they have an opportunity to win points. And at the end of the year, the top wellness teams will get to go on a special field trip. This is really, really exciting, and I don't want to mention the names because we haven't told the students yet, because the Scholastic company wants to video their responses, but Todd County Middle School had 2 regional Scholastic Art and Writing Awards winners. Now, that sounds really great, but there's over 250,000 entries into this competition, and nationwide, and it's a nationwide contest. And we had 1 gold member winner, a gold key, and we had a silver. So to have 2 students from the middle school recognized and that level of competition it makes my heart so happy. And it's very exciting. Like I said, I don't want to say their names yet because they won't find out till tomorrow. But the fewer than 3% are chosen as winners out of that 360,000 entries. So it's really exciting for us. The Gold Key winner has now has gone into the final round of competition in New York and has the opportunity to win at the national level. So it's pretty exciting for us. Our Native American Achievement School grant was over in December. The focus remains the same, however. The initiatives that we started through that grant from the state, we're looking to sustain the changes that we've brought about through title funding and through our school-wide planning. We'll continue with the Osheti Shakoi essential understandings woven throughout our content areas. One big thing that we did was the Indigenous Leadership and Career Exploration Conference, plan for integrating Lakota language into all the classrooms, culturally responsive teaching and teaching truly books that we've gone through with our staff, lesson planning with the OSCUs through all content areas. We're looking at our next book study to be Lost at School. I meant to bring have you seen Paper Tigers, that movie? I meant to bring it so you guys could share and watch it, but it's an amazing video about a school that in Walla Walla, Washington. It's kind of like it started as an alternative school that was really just scary, and what they did and how, and a lot of their philosophies you can see in our building too. So I have it. I will bring it and give it to Carol, and you guys can share it among yourself just to watch it, to see kind of where our mindsets are. Mastery of skills, grading to further engagement of students in becoming self-directed learners. That's a project that we continue to work on, and getting parents on board with that. That's another thing I wanted to report. Our parent committee has been very active. We've met every month. We have 5 members that come regularly. They've held their first fundraiser this weekend for field trips at the end of the year. It was a lock-in. I haven't checked in with them to see how it went, but they're really taking the bull by the horns, I guess I should say. They want to be really active. One thing that they did bring up in their meetings, though, is that their concerns at the board level or at district level are the concerns with the handbook, specifically the discipline matrix, and secondly, the student health policy. And their question on that was about distribution of condoms and what we do to prepare kids for that level of responsibility. They don't want to see the policy go away, but they want to see how are we educating students in that way. Maybe look at doing some sex ed courses at middle school and high school level. But we have our next meeting on February 5th. They're going to bring any suggested revisions or questions that they have to that meeting, and then I will route them through Ms. Galbraith, and then they can go to board level. That's the process, correct? Our support staff is currently doing a book study on the behavior support strategies for education paraprofessionals. And I have been amazed at the things that our support staff are thinking and the things that they're trying and doing through this book study. It's been really another thing that's just made my heart really light to see them really grab onto this and take that as some professional development. Chris and I have been asked to present at the South Dakota Education Conference at the end of May on the middle school. I just talked about the parent committee. Look at all my papers. Oh, boys basketball season opener tomorrow in the Wildcat Den, and our cheerleading squad is amazing. We have so many cheerleaders out. We have 3 squads and a dance team. This is the most cheerleaders that we've had since I've been there, and they're really excited. They really love Brooke Espinoza from last year at the high school. She's our coach, and they're doing stunting. The high school cheerleaders are coming over to help. It's really been exciting for those girls. And boys. We have girls and boys on the team. So the TCMS will have a boys basketball tourney on Saturday, February 1st, starting at 9. It's for A and B teams. It's the first time we've had a tournament in a long time, so we're kind of excited about that. Valentine's Day dance on February 14th, 7 to 10. And we are completing our MAP testing for students that did not complete all the testing last week. Testing will be done after school in achievement. And we're sending home letters to the parents saying, please have your students stay after school. We just can't give up any more instructional time for just testing. And Chris and I were having this discussion before I came over that, we really have to just focus on the classroom and the academic portion of that. I asked a question the other day, I think it was in that meeting that we had about Lakota language. What's the difference between us and the schools in New Mexico, NACA, for instance, and why are their kids, scoring such high proficiency? And they are very culturally responsive, but they're also very perseverance directed. And a lot of the things that we're seeing is our kids are complying in the classroom, but are they learning? And so there's a lot of work to do, not with students so much, it's with engagement in the classroom with our staff and using those techniques to really grab and hook kids in. So the culturally responsive teaching that we've been studying all year is beneficial, and that will be the work that we continue to do with Running Horse, with Dr. Tonema, and hopefully with Lydia as we move forward. Only other thing I have is transition visits will be coordinated with the high school, and we hope to start transitioning in February. And we have been accepted into the Department of Education pilot on embedded formative assessment with Dylan Williams. It's a 2-year project that we did the book study on embedded formative assessment last year, and we really feel that is, it's one thing to do all these assessments, but the true challenge is, okay, take what you've learned from that assessment and modify your instruction to meet that need. So we're really excited about that too. And Chris is a big Dylan Williams fan, so we had to autograph his book and everything.
He was happy with that.
Yeah, he was.
So what are you going to do if the students don't stay after school for their MAP testing?
If they don't stay after their MAP testing, because this is the second round, again, we'll run it till the window's open, that they can stay till the window's open, but after that, because again, if we pull kids out of instruction, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Won't that skew your data?
It won't skew our data because it's growth, all we are is growth-based. We really look at growth-based. It's not as the whole school. We're looking at individual students, so.
Have you done that before, Dana? Had it after school?
No. We were pulling kids out of class, and kids that don't come to school, then we're pulling them out to take a test, and then they're still not in the classroom. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to keep testing and keeping those windows open for longer periods of time, because typically it's the kids that don't come to school are the ones that need to take it after school. And we need to keep moving forward. I can see the concern, but again, we can't slow up the kids that are coming to school doing what they need to do we can't slow their progress up because of testing.
Then how are you gonna do the embedded formative?
The embedded formative assessment,
Yeah.
we've been working with Mastery Connect and our coaches they're embedding it into their actual instruction during the day. And they're supposed to be pulling that information to form their next plans for the next week on how they're going to teach those kids. Or differentiate.
Could you make copies of your notes for me?
I sure will. I'll just give you all of it and I'll give you, you can just have what I have.
I'll get all of us stuff.
Oh, sure.
And then another question that I had was, we talked the other day about, shortage of teachers, especially in Lakota language.
Mhm.
And you have 472 students,
Mhm.
and you've talked about paras. Do you have enough staff for all of those students? Do you, that's a concern, to make sure that,
Do I have enough staff? No. What I need, especially if Lakota language,
I'm not talking just Lakota language, I'm talking everything, all classes.
Across the school?
Overall.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have enough staff to cover that, but to really get good at Lakota language, I need another teacher. One for each grade level or each level of Lakota, depending on what kids come in at. I had asked last year about a wellness or a female PE teacher. I didn't explain it very well. I wanted a certified teacher that has like a PE endorsement or something like that to help teach women's wellness and women's My Journey. Not specifically just for women's PE. It was more about doing things with students that are important for the female part of our population. There's traditional things that need to happen for women that a lot of times don't, and we wanted that person in the school to help guide that, because they can't talk about some of that stuff in a wellness group that's multi-grade and mixed, and that's something that I would like to see, or we would like to see.
Any more board members have any questions on middle school? Michelle?
One thing is, I know you don't know a lot about this, but I'm just curious, the student number 2 we sent over to the other school.
She went.
Is she?
Yep,
Okay,
and
I'm
she's
curious
doing
to see
really
if-
well. I've talked to her mother, and she's very grateful. And we're looking forward to the review at the end of third quarter.
Okay. Thank you, Dana.
Mhm.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Ms. Gerber?
So, I printed out the, eye clinic that wants to come back. And, Hawaii Vision Care was here last year and, set up, I think by the elementary for the most part. But anyway, they want to come back again. So if there's no objections from the board, I'll go ahead and sign that MOU with them. And then their forms I also printed out so you can see, what those look like. I didn't hear any negative responses about it last year, but I did hear a lot of kids got seen and got glasses, so I think that's a win-win. So if there's no objections there, I will do that. I just got it Sunday, so,
Do you want a motion and approval on
I
that?
don't think, no, if you're okay with the MOU, that's fine. And then I just got also the accreditation review that I've been telling you about. I received their summative report here. I made a couple of notes that a couple things had been uploaded already. There is some confidential information in this, so that's why it's just for you guys. I have emailed everybody who needs to help me with corrections that need to be uploaded by April, so I have them already checking on that and telling me they'll get back to me with some of that. So overall, very pleased. Just a couple of technicalities. Birth certificates is one that came up. That's the other handout that I copied state law and have the kids' names on there, and then the next step that we need to do, recording that. So that's why I did that. And those same names are listed on the accreditation review there. So like I said, overall, I felt pretty good about the review. We just have a couple of things. The fireproof cabinet for Lakeview had already been uploaded, so I don't know why that was on there. There's a couple for the graduation requirements. We uploaded some of that, but I don't think they specifically saw the sciences that they wanted to. I think I've asked Mr. Kerner and Mr. Hammer already to take care of that. Klein did not have an updated school improvement plan. Theirs was from
2014.
Or, no, there was one after that that we uploaded, 17, 18, I believe. So they're aware that they have to do that as well. On the FERPA policy, we didn't have who to contact in DC, so that's the correction we have to make there. Pretty easy fix there. Online courses, the high school's gonna work on that. They didn't consider Ingenuity an online course because it's credit recovery here, but the state looks at it differently, so they're gonna work on that. I was told I'd have it by noon tomorrow, so. Teacher evaluation, we just have to make sure that we're getting 1 out of all 4 domains. I don't think they heard that clearly during the interviews with personnel. And then for the principal's evaluation, I'm gonna ask for some clarification on that because he wants us to change policy, which I found a little bit interesting. So I will just do a little more clarification on that because I do feel we have used the principal effectiveness model. When Dr. Whitney was here, that's what she used. So there's, 4 years ago. So I'm not sure what they didn't see there. So, and then the 2 certified staff have already done what was requested here, but I just don't have documentation of that. So I have requested they get that to me and we can upload that.
So there's only 2,
Yeah.
District 1? Pretty good. Very good.
So, like I said, I was pleased with the outcome. Any questions?
Maybe after we read it more. Okay.
That was my big word for a long
I'm
time.
sure, accreditation.
Right.
Next, we're on action items number 7. Alina, the floor is yours. And her brother's here for support, I
Yeah.
think.
Hi, my name is Mia. I'm a junior at Todd County High School, and I'm asking for a donation to go to this leadership summit at UCLA. I want to get the college experience and to develop my leadership skills, just to take it back on the reservation and become a leader like you guys on the board. Yeah, I'm asking however much you give me, okay? And with the leadership summit, these students from 140 countries are nominated to go, and I was one of those students. And yeah, for information. Yeah, sorry.
Have you done any fundraising?
No, but we're going to at the tribe.
Normally, we don't donate 3,000.
Yeah.
I think if we do a set a precedent, and everybody's gonna want that much, we usually donate 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, so we're probably that's probably what we're gonna do.
Okay.
We have a motion?
I'll move to.
Moved by Linda,
I'll second.
second by Shelley. All in favor?
Yes.
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 5-0.
Just for me and we'll work together.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so hard.
Good luck. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Yes.
Yes.
It's exciting.
When you come back, it'd be nice to give a report to
Yeah,
us on
that's
how
right.
that-
Yeah.
fun.
Mother? Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Oh, good job supporting her.
Twice as tall.
I know.
Next, 7-2, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Except for two,
Except
right?
for E,
Two.
E2 is pulled
two,
out.
pulled up for executive session.
I'll
Yeah.
move.
I was just curious why Dusty decided to resign. Dusty Is he? Cool. Okay.
Motion by Linda, second by
Tim?
Tim. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. School calendar. Who's doing the school calendar? Yeah.
I did make the last meeting, so I did email them.
Probably the only concern at our last meeting was we were attempting to end the semester before break in December, and it just made the semesters really awkward, like, I want to say 16 days difference, and for a high school, that makes it pretty difficult. So we just decided that that was a non-negotiable, that we couldn't do that. So we moved the semester break to January, like it has been for the last few years. With the starting dates we have and some of the other breaks we take, it's just not something that is feasible. So there was a little moving of professional development. We tried to move those to one every month. We had 2 in March, so we moved the March 1 to the 19th, which I think will coincide with the Denver powwow, if I heard correctly. And then we moved 1 to September, because without 1 in September, that seems to be a pretty large amount of time without any check-in with professional development. So we thought that looked pretty good, other than November and December with those short months. It's hard to fit something
Yeah.
in those, so.
Michelle had a question about that January.
Yeah,
I
I did have that on the 22nd, and then I was reminded that staff don't appreciate staying till 8 o'clock on a Friday night, so we moved that to Thursday night, which I understand that, so.
So she was wondering about that professional development date then.
Which one? The
The
15th?
15th.
We also did that because that is semester break, so you have, the high school wants time, because they teach a whole different course, you know, so they want time to prepare and plan, so it worked kind of well with that professional development day, the day after the quarter ends, and then there's a holiday on Monday, so if they really feel crunched, they could use some of their own time to help prepare for that next semester. So it's a natural break there as well.
I think the handbook, I read it right, for the high school, if they're excused or absent, they have 2 weeks to get their grades up after semester. But with this, how does that work?
Well, I don't think it would be any different than it is now. I mean, even if you have parent teachers, I mean, we kind of do that now, so you just have to adjust the grade.
Okay. so
And
it
talk
doesn't
about
mean
that with, you know, with families when they come in.
Okay.
I really like that we had moved for the parent-teacher conferences from noon to start at noon, because I heard a comment again from the teachers that they were sitting this morning
Oh, maybe, yeah.
and nobody comes
Nobody
in.
comes. And the
So-
other thing that I've heard complaints about from parents is that at some of the schools, they're making appointments for them to come, but if you work, you can't come.
Right, when you're scheduled, yeah.
When you're scheduled.
Well, but all they have to do for the middle school, all they have to do is say, I can't make it that time, and then come when they can. We fit them in. And we tell them that too, so.
Who does that scheduling, Dana?
It's just done through Infinite Campus. Jean does it.
Okay. So there's not like a preference? I mean, cause I got a 5 o'clock appointment, which worked fine for me, cause I get off at 4:30.
No, it's
But
just-
I mean, like, I've been scheduled at other times that.
It's
totally not gonna
just a
work.
random generator from each wellness group, because you start at the wellness teacher, then you go through the building. But we have parents call all the time and say, I can't do that appointment, and we just say, okay, when can you?
How many people follow that? Or how many parents actually follow that?
Well, we've got a lot more this morning than we have in the past.
You still have a lot of people sitting and waiting, even
Um,
with that?
what do you mean sitting and waiting? Like our teachers sitting and
No,
waiting?
your parents sitting and waiting to get in.
No, that was the whole reason behind it, because we didn't want people to be pushed through and not have a meaningful conversation with the teacher that they needed to talk to. We had, what we did also to alleviate them just sitting and waiting, we did a scavenger hunt with our parents and gave away, well-kept t-shirts and stuff. So if they're sitting there waiting, they can work on their word search. Do you look on the back page of that? Yeah. Or you can do the scavenger hunt until that teacher's available.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Rochelle? Second by Rochelle. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Executive session?
You got any meetings tonight? Work on it?
Oh, Thursday, we have a work night, 4:30. Yes. And also there is some associated school boards information. I emailed you if anybody wants to go in and look at this.
Is it 4:30 on Thursday?
4:30 on Thursday,
Yeah.
yes. Next regular board meeting is on February 10th. And
Thanks,
then,
Ann.
Yeah.
upcoming NAPER Spring Conference and Municipal Conference in Chicago in April. Executive session at 6:05.
I'll move
Moved by
for
Michelle.
personnel. Personnel and
Yes.
personnel.
Yes.
Students and personnel.
6:05.
Second by Michelle. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Okay.